Jeff, thank you so much for giving me some of your time today. I have been looking forward to having a chat with you all week.
Well, my pleasure.
Thank you. I've got to start as well by wishing you a belated birthday from last week as well. So a belated happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, I just keep getting older.
Oh, as we all do, unfortunately, Jeff. Yes. I was thinking earlier, it's a bit of a coincidence because it was around this time last year, I was chatting to a guy whose birthday it was, a guy who you know very well, and it was his second time on the show, Robin McCauley. I was talking to him.
I was going to guess Robin McCauley because I know his birthday. His birthday was Monday, actually. So
yeah.
Or no. His birthday was Saturday.
That's it. Really, Saturday. It's like a day. Is it a day after yours?
Day after mine.
That's
day
it.
After mine. Yeah.
Yeah. And he had a big birthday, shall we say, last year, and he was saying, he didn't really want to celebrate it. But also, it's so good that as we're all getting older. I mean, I love it as a fan of you, of course, and of Robin. That musicians that I grew up with are still knocking out of the park with music, and we're going to get into all sorts. Of course, going to jump across the timeline. But as we go into the End Machine, obviously I want to talk about that because I love the new single, and there's a few things I want to pick your brains about, if that's okay.
Well, thank you. Sure.
But while I've got you, because I've been a fan of you, I'll tell you that you first came into my musical life. It was the summer of '86. I was visiting a friend. He lived in Canada at the time. He'd emigrated there. All over MTV was Dokken. It's Not Love, the video for it. It's the first time I'd heard Dokken. Oh, and that was it. I was a massive Dokken fan then. And
Cool.
And without a word of a lie, Jeff, It's Not Love, which you co-wrote as well. It's not just my all-time favorite Dokken song. It's one of my all-time favorite songs ever. So thank you for that.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you. It's actually one of my favorite Dokken songs too. So
cool. Oh, that's brilliant. What do you think? I mean, here's me, a guy in, the hills of Wales. And I listened to it again the other day, obviously knowing that I was going to chat with you, but I don't need any excuse to ever listen to any Dokken song anyway. But I put that one on. Oh, and it still makes me feel so good. I mean, do you ever think at any point, you're co-writing the song, you're performing the song, you've done it on the record, you've done it live. All these years later, it's still having such a positive effect on people around the world, me included, who's just going, this is amazing.
Well, I mean, I don't think any of us would have predicted that 40 years later it'd be still strong. I just don't think we predicted it. Although that's always the goal. You're always trying to write time music. You want to write the greatest music you can. But then certainly in the early 90s when that music became so unhip, I think we all kind of thought, okay, it's going to go away, The fact that it has a life of its own and that it's carried on, I think it's a testament to, certainly Dokken had a sound and a chemistry, a unique chemistry with all four of us that made special music. And I really I don't know if we appreciated it at the time as much as we should have. I think that probably goes for everyone. I mean, I think most bands that are great didn't appreciate themselves enough at the time, the chemistry that they had. But I look back on it, and when I reflect on it, I remember how hard we worked, and I remember we didn't settle. We definitely, we pushed to make things great. And, we were very conscientious about the songs. And I think that conscientiousness of the songs is what led to them being as great as they were and gave it the timeless effect that allows it for 40 years later that we're talking about it.
That's it. I mean, I didn't even wait until I got home to buy the Under Lock and Key album. I bought it while I was still in Canada and then brought it back here. And then, I was addicted. I mean, that and I mean, everything Dokken does, I really love. Back for the Attack is like these albums that I still play constantly and just have, because I'm sure, I'm preaching to the converted with, music is the main thing for changing you emotionally. It can really affect your emotions. And I found, Dokken music is, if you want to feel up, if you want to feel good, put Dokken on. That's always good.
Oh, wow. Well, that's great. Thank you.
Can you tell me about the music video? Because I've got to ask you, because that was my introduction to you, was the video for It's Not Love, where you're on the back of the truck and you're driving along. What are your memories of that day and making that video?
Well, my memories of that day are pretty funny because it was actually really fun. And especially when we ended up at the Rainbow at night. And we were kind of playing it by ear, just driving around, and it was really cool. But the funny thing is, I had we had gotten back from Europe about a month earlier, and I had, at the end of our European tour, I had contracted this really bad. I got a stomach parasite,
No.
which was still affecting me even by the time we did that video. And I just remember that in order to do the video, we had to hire a porta potty to travel with us. So there was like a traveling porta potty following us for me to use in between takes because I was still in such bad shape with the stomach virus, or the parasite that was in me. So my memories are probably a little different than everyone else's.
Oh my God, you did so well then to get through that video because you were shooting it all day then. You must have done quite a few runs along that road then because starts in the day
Oh
and you
yeah.
can see it then goes into nighttime.
Yeah, no, no, no. We spent all day and night, traveling around, playing, cranking the song, which again was really fun. But yeah, for me, it was a challenge.
And then you said you ended at the Rainbow. Did you then play a gig at the Rainbow that night?
No, but we were playing in front of the Rainbow. We were,
Yeah.
I mean, it's playback of the song, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
but it felt like a gig, and the people coming out and everything, it felt like a gig. It was really cool.
So different to if you did that these days because all you'd see now would just be a sea of people with the smartphones filming you as you go
Yeah,
past, where it's
yeah,
there.
right.
It's everybody just taking it in, and they must have such great memories of everybody that saw you drive past that day.
I bet they did have a lot of fun. I bet it was.
It was interesting. I was watching a few documentaries. I was watching a few interviews with you, and just keeping on the subject of music videos. And when you on one of them, you were talking about the Dream Warriors making the music video for that, and how cold it was. You're going from the outdoors in LA doing It's Not Love. It must have been hot, and then how bloody cold it was doing the Dream Warriors one. I mean, what's it like for you doing music videos? Because I know when I was talking to Robin, and I know with Ronnie Atkins especially as well, he hated making the music videos. What's your opinion of when it comes to that side of it for promo?
I didn't hate them. They were tedious. I mean, there's a lot of sitting around when you're doing a video. Um, but I didn't hate them by any means. And I enjoy doing it. Like I say, there's just a lot of sitting around and waiting. And that gets old. And getting the lighting set and all that kind of stuff. It can get very tedious. But overall, I mean, I considered it just part of our job, and something that so I tried to enjoy it as much as I could, and I still kind of feel that way.
Yeah. Because like I said, we're going to jump all across your timeline because, the video for Silent Winter from the End Machine, great video. And you're out, is that just outside of LA? Is that
Yeah. Yeah, that was in the desert outside of LA, yeah. And yeah, we shot the video there. It was actually really fun. And that was the first day I actually met Girish in person, which was
Wow.
amazing. Yeah, because he had done all his vocals from India. So that was a great thing. I loved that, and so my memories of that video are very positive. Even though I was I was going to be going into surgery a week after we did those videos. Um, so I was in bad shape and pain wise, but
Mhm.
but uh, but I had great memories of the video, and it was so much fun, and it was great to get together because wow, it really felt like a band when we did it, and that's a cool feeling. I live for that feeling.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I am so pleased that you've got him as a vocalist as well because, wow, I played on the
Yeah. Wow.
show when Girish and the Chronicles, when their first album, and we were sent an
Hmm.
advance copy of that. And I was like, this is so good. And what a
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
And then, of
What a
course,
voice.
yeah, when I see that he's hooked up with you and I see the first single, I was like blown away. So you must be really excited as well with this next stage for the End Machine.
I really am because, yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a risk trying somebody new,
Mm.
but man, did he ever come through, both in the writing and the singing. And I just feel like we could do anything. It feels like a super band, feels like super band,
Mhm.
like we really have a lot of potential. So yes, I'm very excited for what could happen with the M Machine. Uh, you know, it's like I say, it's an open book of possibilities, and there's nothing better for an artist than to feel like that.
Oh yeah, to have the the new input and to be excited, like you said, this it must be so good. And you said that was the first time that you met him. So how long did you get to spend together? Obviously it was longer than that shoot. Did you manage to have a few days together, or how long was it?
No, just the days of shooting. Yeah. But that was great. It was great.
Is there any plans already? It might be a bit early in the day, for touring with the End Machine, because you're so busy. You've got so many projects on that I do want to touch on as well. But what are any touring plans, or is it the album so far?
Whenever I'm asked about the touring thing, I always first like to clear up that logistically, it's really hard to pull these things off. It really is, and it can be very expensive.
Yeah.
And just logistically, like I say, very difficult, especially Girish lives in India.
Yeah.
But having said that, this is my last year of 9 months of the year on the road with Foreigner.
Yeah.
2024 is going to be the end of that. We have a big year this year. So this year, I couldn't see the M Machine doing anything live.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2025, my schedule will open up a bit. George is doing his last Lynch Mob big touring year this year in 24. So his schedule may open up a bit in 25. So maybe there's a potential there because of our time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Girish is only getting more busy, though, because the more people are hearing him, the more he's wanted, of course.
Yeah.
But like I say, my schedule and George's are probably going to be a little bit lighter in 2025. So there's a possibility there. But again, it's logistically, it's a real difficult thing. So the desire is there to do it because I know how great this band would be live. It would just be sensational live. So there's the desire there, but logistically it's difficult. So there you go. I mean, that's the honest answer.
And you've worked with George for so many years across so many projects as well. I mean, you must have such a great working relationship to continue to this day to do all these projects.
Of course we do. We have an incredible chemistry. What kind of never lets us down. We just, we have a no egos, no bullshit relationship that's just, it's real strong. Mm-hmm. And we love working together. We always enjoy it. We always have a great time. And I mean, it's listen, it's been really good to us. 40 years of chemistry has been very good to us. So we love, anything we can, anytime we can work together, we tend to want to do it. And it's something I don't take for granted, but I sure am glad it's there.
Oh yeah, good. And us as fans are sure glad that it's there as well, and that you continue to working together. It was interesting as well. You were saying with the no ego side of it. Is that something that's one of the few advantages maybe of getting older? Because I've talked to musicians and that in the past, and it's especially with the 80s. Everything seemed to be big back in the 80s, egos included. You think getting older is just that kind of stuff just doesn't matter as much, and the friendship and the creative side of it makes more sense to everybody.
Of course.
What is it that you like about being the best, or about being the musician? That you prefer the writing the songs? Do you prefer being out on the stage, or what is your favorite part of this whole process for you after all these years?
My favorite part is the recording part, and the writing is I kind of include that in that because I love it when we write and record and it's fresh and inspired. Those are the moments that I think I live for. I maybe a little bit of grass is greener thing because I've been on the road so much the last 20 years. So maybe when I get off the road full time, I'll miss it. But right now, I don't feel like I will. Because I love to perform live. Yeah. I really do. But I've done it a lot, and I kind of just don't think I would miss it if I didn't do it that much. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of my feeling. Partly from getting older, because the travel itself is so much more wearing on you. I mean, a live show is still great, and I still get the buzz from a live show. And it would probably be a real buzz to do some with maybe End Machine or Revolution Saints or Black Swan. But I just don't know at this point if that's a possibility. So like I say, if you really ask me what I really love, it's the recording process, and writing and recording to me is just a magical combination. And if I could spend all my time in here, I probably would.
That looks like you already look really comfortable in there, Jeff. You must spend a lot of time in
Oh,
there.
I love this place. This is a pretty magical studio right here.
That's great. You mentioned Black Swan as well, because I know when I recorded with Robin last year, a lot of people were asking about the new Black Swan album. When's there going to be a new album? When's there going to be a new album?
Yeah.
Am I right in saying, Jeff, that we're close to a new album being recorded?
We're close to one starting, because Reb is actually coming here on Sunday, and we're going to spend a week together starting to write the next Black Swan record. I don't think it will come out till well into 2025. I don't believe, because this year is going to be a tricky touring year. So getting Reb and I together is difficult because he lives in Pittsburgh. Fortunately, Robin doesn't live too terribly far away, but he's busy too. So I don't know when we're going to deliver, but I know we're going to start writing it next week.
That's great news, because like you said, you're so busy, and you said this year you're so busy with Foreigner, and can you believe it's been 20 years? You've been in the band 20 years. That has flown by.
I know. Blows my mind.
What was it like? Can you still remember what it was like when you joined the band?
Oh, I do. I do very well, because we were all so excited, including Mick Jones. He was really excited to have a new band that was, really, really passionate about playing, and we did the music, and we were heavier, and Mick Jones is a closet heavy metal guy. you have to know that about him. It's really funny because, although he would never think of it that way, but when Mick Jones is given a guitar and just said, and you just say, let's just jam, he plays like heavy, cool riffs that we love to jam on. So it was, and that was an enlightening thing for me to see that. And so we were a very excited band when we started. And then when we got Kelly, it was like, wow, this is magic. And then the excitement just continued, and it continues to this day. We've got a great lineup right now of guys that are focused and passionate, and we all love each other. There's a real bond in there. And there's a passion for the vision of the music. And that makes for a real strong band and a really powerful live show that I'm extremely proud of and still passionate about to this day. So yes, I remember what it's like, and I love where it's at now.
That's really good to hear, Jeff. That is so good to hear. And you said it's the last big tour that Foreign are going to do, but it's not the end. It's not going to be the last ever live shows, but it's the last big tour that you're going to undertake.
Yeah, no, somehow we'll continue on. We just aren't going to be doing the 9 months of the year on the road thing, so which is great. That's something I'm ready to not do. But there's also some unfinished Foreigner music that I would love to finish up and release. So, we'll see. I'm hoping in 2025 we can do that. We'll see about shows, but new music would be a real fun thing to finish.
New music would be brilliant to finish. It really would. Even though,
yeah.
As well as anybody, the way that the music business has changed, like I said, going back to the 80s, well, it was the 70s when I first started buying vinyl. But back then, it was such a different thing. The way that people consume the music, you as artists, the way that music is sold and everything, it's changed. Mostly, the way I see it, it's mostly for the bad, because I love physical, even though you can still buy vinyl, etc. But the whole music business has changed so much for you. Has there been any more positives than negatives for you, the way that it stands right now?
Well, there are positives. The technology allows us to do some pretty incredible things. It wouldn't have been possible in the 80s to do a record with a singer in India.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have email where we could email ideas back and forth. It was, you had to send physical, if somebody wanted to send an idea, they had to literally send it to you, so,
yeah.
So it wouldn't have been possible to do a record like that. So there are definitely positives about the technology now. I love the fact that I can go on Apple Music and hear pretty much anything I want to hear. That's an amazing thing. But the way music is sold now, and the fact that it's becoming streaming, so much, and that streaming revenue has not been worked out for artists in a fair way at all yet. That has to be done. So I'm very. There are big negatives about the music business right now that I think need to be sorted out. The way that actors and writers just did with the strike in Hollywood. Yeah. The musicians need to do the same thing. It's really not in a good place. And it's not a business model that's going to set up people wanting to make careers in music, because the way that streaming revenue is so poor. And pretty soon streaming is going to be almost all of it. CDs are going to go away.
Yeah.
And there's probably going to be a closet vinyl network that'll stay on for a long time. But that's not going to be enough to sustain the business. And most of music will be heard, with people in their earbuds, on their phones, and on computers and through streaming. And when that becomes the exclusive way of sales, it's going to be hard for musicians to make a living until they change the business model. So I'm worried about that, and I'm cautious about that. And I think those negatives are really bad, really bad negatives that may overwhelm all the positives that technology brings us. So I'm one of those that is skeptical, hopeful but skeptical about the business model, and would like to see it change and hope it changes for the better. Because if it doesn't, I think we're going to see a real problem with music in the years to come.
I mean, that's what I love about Frontiers music as well. Releasing them, the physical releases that they're still doing, and the great array of bands that they've got. It's perfect for people like me. That it's just keep that rock music coming at me, and we can keep buying it. So, thankfully.
Well, and this music does have a physical CD buying presence, which is pretty amazing. And that's the thing, it takes labels like Frontiers who are working to bring this to a higher level. And they're very passionate about this music. So my hope is that they're able to increase the exposure, because I believe that there's a bigger audience out there for this new music than there's an audience out there that doesn't know about this music. And I'm hoping people like yourself and everybody else can increase the exposure so that more people who would love this music know about this music. And again, I think Frontiers is going to be critical in that process. And like I say, journalism is just as important in that process. So let's hope we can do that. And in the process, let's hope that the business model gets sorted out so that as it becomes more streaming, the revenue becomes more of a fair thing.
Yeah, let's hope so. I've been championing Frontiers music for a long time now, because they're really good. And I think just to close off, I would encourage everybody, The End Machine, get ready for this new album, because if that single's anything to go by, we're in for a great album, Jeff. We really are. Looking forward to it.
I really feel strong about the whole record. I'm very, very positive about it. So, I can't wait for people to hear it. The record's called Quantum Phase, and it comes out March 8th. So
I'll be there. I'll be definitely getting that. Well, for the sake of the edit, Jeff, thank you for your time. Hopefully you're going to get across to the UK soon. Hopefully it's going to be somewhere you can get close to the North Wales, and I can come and see you too. That would be cool.
That would be wonderful.
And you are wonderful. Always welcome on the show. I could talk to you for hours and hours, and you're so busy. Please come back at some point.
Thank you so much. Been great, and congratulations on North Wales, because it's a great place.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.